Alright, dad tax. Getting started on another day of touring. Today is supposed to be like the hottest day, which is only 90 degrees, so it's not that bad, but we do have to drink a lot of water.
It's like dry heat though, so if you're standing in the shade, and it's breezy, it actually doesn't feel too bad. We're taking our turn in the very back of the bus. I wasn't very excited because I get car sick, but I don't think we're driving a ton today, so.
Another morning, another day, going to be a little hot today than yesterday.
Oh, that's so good. I'm gonna try not to bite.
Bubblegum stick. It's a bubblegum stick, I think.
When we're on these tours, it feels like you need like extra sugar and like stuff just to get through the day. My brain is so shot.
The Samaritans, they really say that they are the original Jews. They are really the Jewish people, and not we. And the temple was not in Jerusalem, but here on Mount Gerizim. And they are one of them are the Kutish, and also Sfarbaim, and also Acha. I mean, 4 kind of nations. And they brought him here. And these are the Samaritans. Now, later on, I'm going and I want to point Joseph to
Behind me right here, we have a refugee camp that has existed for 70 years that's being operated by the PLO. I don't know if you can see, there's like a UN building right there in the front. What we're told is that the reason why the PLO is keeping these refugee camps for 70 plus years when they could be releasing these refugees is it's kind of like leverage against Israel as a way to kind of like show the world that these things still exist in Israel and to get money from the UN. I think that's where we went today. I'm actually like not even sure. Today I hit some sort of wall and I was just like burned out. Physically, mentally, and then Eden started barfing outside the van and then inside the van. Oh, how many days are we into this trip?
We only have 2 more left.
So it's been a long trip.
Tour, but.
And yeah, I don't know how much more information I can handle. But that's okay. I figured, so obviously we didn't film much today. Like this is it. We're back at our hotel thing. We got a olive press behind us, ancient olive oil factory. And I thought this would be a good opportunity just to share some of the more deep reflections we've had overall as we've like dove into this topic of women in the Bible. There's a couple stories that really challenge the way I see the world. So if you don't know these stories, it could be a little tough, but there is a story of a woman named Tamar, and she was the daughter-in-law of Judah, one of the 12 tribes of Israel, and all this is in Genesis, I believe, if you want to find it. And basically, like long story short, her husband dies, and she's promised a new husband within the family that never comes. So she disguises herself and prostitutes herself out to her father-in-law in order to become a part of the family again and gain the family inheritance. So I heard this story, not really as a kid, because I think they skipped over it, but even when I read it as an adult, it was like...
You like judged her.
Yeah, you're like, okay, ancient Bible time weirdness, like you're a prostitute, you're... like tricking people, like, I don't know, nothing positive came out of it. And any negative viewpoint I had of women or biblical women was kind of just accentuated. What I learned on this trip completely changes my perspective. In fact, our tour guide is like convinced that this is one of the like true heroes of the Bible. And it's really crazy because the reason why is because women, and this isn't the only women, there's numerous women who risked their lives to protect the inheritance of their family. Because inheritance was all you had. It was like what you got, your land or your donkeys and whatnot. But this physical inheritance is kind of a metaphor to something much more valuable, which is our spiritual inheritance, which is the thing that we get after we die beyond this planet, which is worth dying for, and it's worth having this crazy faith that most of these men, to contrast that, you have these stories of like Jacob and Esau, where Esau sold his inheritance for a meal. And the women were the ones that were constantly sacrificing to a point where they prostituted themselves. And this isn't saying like prostitution is right, but all I know is when I heard this story before, all I could think of is prostitution is wrong. And this has given me a different perspective of these women and the way I see the world. It's been really cool.
These women like Tamar were willing to sacrifice their reputation for something greater. And it's so easy to judge. And something that REA, our tour guide, has taught us is to if you don't understand the situation, like you don't understand the culture, what she was going through, all these things, you don't have any business to judge. And that's really, I feel like it's a good principle just even in life.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah, I felt that about, we were in Samaria and we talked about the Samaritan woman and the way Jesus responded to her, these were like the complete outcasts, was so, I mean, I had read these texts before, and they always seemed to incriminate her, but just like this cultural understanding that he said, it like was actually the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Like Jesus was encouraging her, and I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, we've always just read it through our own cultural lens. But when you understand, like our tour guide understands more that culture, you realize, oh, he was speaking such a gentle, soft, encouraging, like building up type of language to her.
I think this is really important for me, having 4 daughters, and even for my wife, is I want to have a very positive viewpoint of women. And I don't, that's the problem I kind of have with feminism nowadays, is I feel like it's almost debasing to women in a way. Like, it comes across as being powerful, but I don't think it really is. It's kind of like, you know, if you're, if you believe something is that strong, you don't need to say it that much, you know? And I actually am starting to believe more and more that a better understanding of the Bible, it's the most consistent way to have like universal and long-term perspective that really values women.
Yeah. Yep. Which
All right.
I think is hard for people because they look at these stories and they actually think that they're doing the opposite. But in that cultural context, they're not. So it's hard.
Yeah. All right, let's go. We are going to go to dinner now. I just want to show you guys this view here. We are in this thing, it's called the Biblical Garden. So these are like tools that they have to help you understand why certain analogies Jesus used. Like they have a wine press, and this is an olive press. And these are like actual, like, I don't know if you can see, there's like grapevines with like clusters of grapes all over the place, and fig trees and olive trees. And these things are so important to understand because, I don't know, like all the stories are tied into like the way these plants work that those people knew and we don't know. So when Jesus said these things, like we take it to mean one thing when he really meant another. So I'm so thankful that we're here. Hopefully we feel a little bit better tomorrow. Cammie's saying she's starting to feel a little bit sick.